Good afternoon, everyone. I promised to make you a video to show you how to do this, and I just I needed to step away from it last night because I was tired and getting frustrated. And I advise you guys to do the same thing when that happens. I had a big brain fart, and I forgot what was going on here was that when we do a percent change, if we don't multiply by 100, what's going to happen is when we divide, we're going to get our decimal value. That changes into a percent when we multiply by 100. So when we make this fraction and we divide, it's going to be a decimal value. So this question gives us the percent change, which is an increase, and then it gives us the new value. And when we read this, we can see that that's what's going on here because it says the percentage increased by 12.2 and it went up to 89.5. So 89.5 is the new value. We need to find the old value, what was the percentage in 1999. And we're given our percent change, but it's given as a percent. What we were struggling, or specifically me, what I was struggling with last night is that I kept forgetting that this should be a decimal and not a percent. So we identified our new value. We're looking for our old value, and I labeled that as X. And then this is our percent change. Because the formula that we're using, we're not multiplying by 100 here. So when we divide, we're just going to get the decimal value of the percentage. So when I set up our equation, I'm not going to put in 12.2 like what we were doing last night. I'm going to put in 0.122. I'm going to change that percent to a decimal. So then I'm going to take my new value minus my old value and then divide by my old value. That's going to give us the decimal format of our percent change. In order to solve for X, the problem that we have here is that X is in the denominator. So we have to multiply both sides of the equation by X. That way, I can get rid of, let me use a different color here. That way I can get rid of this X with this X because this is in the denominator and this is in the numerator. So the X's on the left disappear, and then what we're left with is 89.5 minus X, and then on this side we have 0.122X. Then what we need to do is add X to both sides. If we're solving for X, we need to combine the X's. Since X is on the opposite side of this X, we're going to add one X to both sides so that the positive X and the negative X here drop out. And then over here, we're going to add 1X to a 0.122X. So when we add them together, we're going to get a 1.122X. And then what's left over here on the left is that 89.5. Then our last step is to divide both sides by the 1.122. And when you divide that, you're going to get 79.7682. And the question says to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So we need to round this to one decimal place. Since this is a 6, we need to bump that 7 up to an 8. Oops. I got to bump that up. This should be an 8. So our final answer should be 79.8. That's our old percentage. And when it increases by 12.2%, we get the new value, which is 89.5. So that makes sense. Last night, because we forgot about, well, I keep saying I forgot about the decimal. We kept coming out with weird numbers that didn't make sense. So that's how we knew we were doing something wrong. Now, when you get to one that says it's decreasing, so instead of increasing by 12.2%, if it says decreasing, then when you set up your equation, this should be a negative. Other than that, it will be exactly the same. Hope this helps.